Hi and welcome. I'm Jules Muller, founder and CEO of Chicks Connect, and we're super excited today to be learning from Mike Fritz. Mike is going to teach us how to get booked on stages and how to earn and make an impact. So I'm super excited to welcome you today, Mike, and Mike is going to be giving us some great content, and then I'll do some screen share and show you the website and some content there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and let you take over, Mike.
All right. Well, Jules, thank you so much for having me. I was able to meet some of your members at the CCIC conference up in Oregon. And if I know Brittany, I saw, and some of your others that were maybe at that conference, if I had a chance to meet you, it was such a great opportunity to come and meet all of you guys. And Jules obviously pulls together some wonderful people. So to be with you guys today is really, really an honor. And I'm excited for what we're going to go through today. So Jules, you just want me to hop into it, or do you just want me to hop in, and I'll just, because I'm ready just to go if you want me to.
Well, I think hopping in, but one thing I did want to mention is, I have encountered so many amazing people that have so much amazing content, and they have a heart to give and to teach and to train, and money isn't always top on the priority list because they just want to share. But we all know that in order to be able to share, and make that impact, it's important to earn. And so really how to monetize this, I think, is going to be key, because I think, they already have the great content. They just want to know, how can we make money now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things with the speaking industry is, because it's an industry that historically people have most people get into speaking to make a difference. And here's why I know that. As many of you know, public speaking is one of the greatest, it is actually the greatest fear, documented fear of humans. It is the greatest fear to get up in front of people and speak. And so nobody would come into this unless they wanted to help people, because you have to put yourself out there, you have to be vulnerable, you have to be in front of people, and that's not easy to do. And so I know that people get into this business to make a difference. Every single speaker I've ever met, part of the reason they came into speaking, and really the start of the reason they got into the speaking industry, is because they wanted to make a difference. And then, as you just said, Jules, what happens is, at some point you have to ask yourself the question, okay, well, I want to make a difference, but at some point I need to start making money at this so that I can continue to make a difference. And then we go into this dichotomy in our brains. Okay, am I going to make money, or am I going to make a difference? And how do I do both? And what I want to shift in our mindset is, they are not mutually exclusive, and they are not different. We are wired as humans to pay for value. None of you would go to a car dealership expecting to drive away with a car without paying for it, because there's a value there. And so the point is, I want you guys all to see that earning money is not mutually exclusive from making a difference. It's not like, well, I got it to make a difference and now I have to think about money. No. They're one and the same. And so you have to be paid for what you do so you can continue to make a difference. It's really the continuation. So if you want your message to go on, you have to earn. I know you guys know that, but I'm just going to lay that as the foundation. And then as we go into how in the world do you do that, I'll kick that off. And so those of you who don't know me, my passion is helping people take what they know inside their brain and make a difference and make an income. So we call it an impact and an income, and in that order. But I want you to do it the way that I didn't do it for about the first 2-3 years of speaking, and I just absolutely struggled. For example, most of us think when we get into speaking, we have to start speaking for free. We heard that. Maybe it's pretty easy to get free speaking gigs, as some of you probably know. The problem with that is, when it doesn't matter how long and how many free speaking gigs you get, it never, ever sustains the mission, because at some point you have to pause from that mission and go make an income, or else you just won't survive. And so I come to you today with saying, let's do it the right way. And so I'm going to give you guys 5 things today of how you can start booking gigs in the next couple days if you want to. And so the very, very first thing, so when Jules and I met, we actually met through a mutual friend, and we got on the phone, we started talking to each other, and we got on the phone, we started talking to each other, and we realized we had a lot of alignment, and the alignment came around the mission, for sure. Our mission was to help people. Jules is growing a massive membership throughout the nation and globe, and creating a network for people to get together, network, grow their businesses, grow personally, and she's growing a network. We're growing a network on our side of speakers, authors, trainers, coaches that want to grow their business to make an impact. Very similar, just going about it different ways. So we had an instant connection around impact. And so when we started talking about, doing this thing today, I thought, if I was maybe a business owner like most of you, or if I had a coaching business, or if I had maybe I run a chapter for inside of Jules's organization. Maybe I run a chapter, or if I have a product that I sell, and I'm trying to build my downline of a product I sell, or I have all these things going on. What would I want to know, or what would help me start booking gigs instantly? And so that's the question I keep asking myself. And then at the end, we'll field some questions. Jules, will we have some time at the end for some questions that we can answer?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, great, awesome. So guys, please get your pens ready, but also get your question askers ready. So if you guys want to ask questions at the end, I'd be more than happy to answer anything I can for you guys. Okay, so very, very, very first thing that we have to do is you have to know what you're passionate about. The very first question, when you say, okay, here's what I want to speak on. You have to know what you want to speak on. Okay, so you want to speak on health, or you want to speak on family, or you want to speak on growing your business, or you're going to speak on how to build a downline, and maybe you have a product that's in the direct sales world, or you want to talk about how to build a membership, or you want to talk about how to build a speaking business. You got to know what you want to say. That's the first thing you got to know. What are you most passionate about saying? So here's what I often ask. I used to have a thing called the magic mic. Of course, it was a play off my name. And the magic mic was to say, if you could speak into a microphone and every single living human on the globe could hear you, but you could only speak for 10 seconds, what would you say? What would you tell people if you could speak to every living human? What would you say, but you only have 10 seconds and then the mic stops working? What would you say? Oftentimes, what happens when you think about an exercise like that, what really is important to the bottom of your heart comes out. And it's that message that will sustain you through, man, nobody's booking me, or because you're going to hit hiccups. You're going to ask a bunch of people to book you, and very, very, very few are going to say yes. By the way, in the speaking industry, in any business, you'll always get way more no's than you get yeses. For example, our direct mail campaigns, if we get 0.25% response, we will generate a lot of revenue. You don't need a lot of response, but a quarter, that means 99.34% of people said no, but 0.25% can equal thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so understand you're going to be told no, but what's going to get you through all those no's is being incredibly deeply passionate about what you're saying. So some people come into the industry and say, Mike, I love to speak, I want to be a speaker. I'm like, well, what do you want to speak on? They're like, I don't really care. I just like speaking. What I've realized about that approach is most people die off over time, because that's not a strong enough why. You got to have something you want to say. The first thing, write down, what do you want to say if you could say to the entire world in 10 seconds? That's often your message. So for me, I want every single person to know that they have a message, they should be sharing that message, and they should be earning from that message. Every single person. You say, but not everybody's a speaker. It doesn't have to be from the stage. It could be from anywhere. But every single person has a message. That's what I would want people to know. What is it you want people to know? Okay. So after you phase one is figuring out what would you say if you could say something to everybody in 10 seconds. The second thing, after you've decided that, the second thing you have to ask is what organizations, what associations, what companies, whatever, what schools, colleges, what nonprofits, who is looking for that message? Okay, so first thing is, what do I want to say? The second thing is, who is actively looking for that message? Who's actively looking for that message? By the way, if you want to know who's actively looking for your topic, here's a little ninja way to do that. Who is one of your competitors? Like, who's a speaker that's a competitor? Go to their website, see where they're speaking, And those organizations are often the organizations I would start marketing to. And here's why: because those organizations probably aren't going to have that speaker back the exact next year, but those people obviously book speakers like you because they're booking your competitors. So that's
Mike,
one way you can find out who's booking your topic.
I'm going to stop you just for a second. Please, if you are not muted yet, if you would go ahead and mute your computer or excuse me, mute yourself just right here in the platform, or mute your phone, that would be great. Thank you.
Thanks, Jules. I certainly appreciate that. And so, so anyway, oh yeah, if you're on a phone as well, yeah, that's a good point. Everybody mute. That's a great idea, just to keep our audio going well, because we're recording. So anyway, after you found out if you had a magic microphone, you could say in 10 seconds, what would you say? Then who's booking your topic? I just told you, go to some competitor site, see what events are going on that book your topic. And then for all that is good and pure, go to those events, go to them, go to them, drive to them, fly to them, do whatever you got to do, go to them and start networking with the people that run the events, maybe volunteer, figure out how to get on their radar. See, most speakers fail because they ask this question: how do I get booked? That's the worst question to ask as a speaker. You have to ask the question, how do I get booked at the Chicks Connects conference? How do I get booked at the Magnetic Speaker Conference? How do I get booked at the Author 101 conference? You got to ask, how do I get booked at a specific event? Because then you know who to contact. And that's more one-to-one marketing. But one-to-one marketing when you're starting out is a very effective way to do it. Instead of just mass marketing is very effective, but it's very expensive. And so to just start off, let's pick 10 events that we know book topics like yours and go after them. Okay. That's just one simple tool. So, okay, you've picked your message. You've picked your market. You know where they are. Then we have to connect with them and we have to get them to pick us. We have to either go to their event, send them something, send them a book, a brochure, a one sheet, whatever, and try to get them on the phone so that we can ask them if when they're looking for speakers. One of the things when you talk to somebody booking a speaker, if they say, okay, our conference is already booked for this year, the number one question you ask is, when do you normally book speakers? Well, we usually book around October. Great. Write that down in your calendar to reach out to them, not in October, in September. You want to get on their radar before the booking time comes in. And so again, you figure out what time they're booking, then you go after it. When I first started in the speaking industry, I didn't know what in the world I was doing. And so I just went after anybody who had booked speakers. And what I realized about doing that is, if I don't find the people actively looking for my topic, then what I have to do is I have to prove to them that they should be booking my topic. So there's an extra step. So if I go to somebody that just books speakers, but I want them to book my topic, and maybe they should book your topic. For example, Jules and I talk, and our organization, we were talking about this the other day. We were talking about networking. Nobody books networking, and yet it's one of the most important things in the world for a business owner to know. In fact, everybody always says, your net worth will be appropriated to your net worth, or it's a direct result of your net worth and all that kind of stuff. And your net worth is connected to your network. And the point is what they're saying is, who you know and how well you know who you know it's gonna determine your income. And so the point is, if you don't know your ability to network and get in with key centers of influence, it's one of the most important things in business, period. Think about speaking. What's your number one goal? To get in front of people that can make decisions to put you on stage. It's all a networking game. Let's say you have a product and you want to sell a product and you're in direct sales and you have a whatever it is, whether it's supplements or whether it's health stuff or whatever it is, or you're a coach, you want to sell your coaching services. What do you need to do? You need to get in front of people that make decisions. It's all networking. But the point is, people don't book networking. They don't directly associate networking as the problem that they need solved. And so what happens is, if you're a networking speaker, quote unquote, you go after them and they're like, we really don't need that. And then you have to try to convince them that they need you. Best route is to go after people already booking topics like yours, or booking your topic even better. Okay. So go after people that are already booking your topic. Okay. So understand it's message, picking what you want to say, finding out who's booking it, then going after them. Okay. Then going after them. It's a really simple process, but most people aren't willing to do what it takes to get that process done. I know every day when I woke up as a speaker, and even today, my business has completely changed. But when I was booking talks over and over and over and over and over again, every single day I woke up with one goal: to book one talk that day. So my goal was to book a talk every day. And some days I didn't, but then I asked the questions, why didn't I? Did I waste too much time on Facebook? Did I waste too much time answering emails that really could have waited until after I had done my marketing time? Why really didn't I book speakers, or didn't I get booked that day? And then I reevaluate. So if you wake up every day if getting booked to speak really is your goal, wake up every day with that on your mind, saying, I'm going to book a talk before I go to bed tonight. And then you just start hitting the road hard, trying to get people on the phone, or trying to email people, or whatever it is. So let's, for a minute, if you guys are on your computer. If you're not, I'll talk you through it if you're on a phone, or if you're on a phone in front of a computer, that would be great. Go to magneticspeaker.com, and I'm gonna. This is our event that's coming up June 22, 23, 24 in Orange County, California, or Santa Ana. Jules is going to come, and she's going to be speaking there, and
I'm
we're
on the
excited
page,
about
so
that.
people can see it right here.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you go to the site, if you scroll down and see our speakers, you'll see Jules is right there, and some of our other speakers that are going to be coming in teaching. Of course, I'll be doing the majority of the speaker training. Then we have April Hunt talking about speaking for influence, and she teaches how to sell from stage and how to be an impactful speaker on stage. Then we have Roberto Candelaria. He teaches basically how to get sponsored. So let's say you want to go be a speaker, but you want to get somebody to sponsor your speaking fee. So when you call people, you're actually speaking for them for free. He's going to teach you how to get sponsors, and he's landed over 15, I think it's 18 now, $1 million in sponsorships. Then we have Starlee Murray, who teaches people how to get on TV, which is absolutely fantastic. Then Matt Browning, who teaches how to use NLP from stage. So if you don't know what NLP is, that's neuro-linguistic programming. He basically teaches you how to truly move people to action using ethical influence. Then we have Perry Yeldum teaching how to build a brand. He's our branding guy that works on all of our sites, and he's an absolute brilliant branding guy. Then we have Karen Strauss, who talks about publishing. If you want to get your book published, this is a publishing company my business partner and I own, and with Karen, and she's one of the people that runs that company, and she's going to be there. And if you do have a book that you'd like to get in front of a New York City publisher, she's going to be there. And then we have Darren Adams coming, teaching how to use an automated system to generate leads with a tool called Infusionsoft, which is the tool we use to generate our leads. And so those are some speakers that are going to be there. But why I wanted you to go to this is from the Magnetic Speaking Formula. Is right under the main banner that you see, that little video loop. You come down, it says the Magnetic Speaking Formula. When I talk about getting on stage, monetizing the stage, and leveraging the stage. So a first step is we got to get on stage, and then you have to figure out a way to earn from the stage. And we have what we call the LSV. Every time you're booking a talk, we want you to think about what's the lifetime stage value. What's that stage worth to you over time? And then you can know, once you know what a stage is worth to you, you know how much you can pay in marketing to go get that stage. One of the things I see with business owners, and it breaks my heart, one of the reasons a lot of businesses struggle and business owners struggle is they don't actually treat it like a business, they treat it like a hobby. And the difference is, and I'm not saying that if you have something that's part-time that you're a hobbyist by any stretch of the imagination. Most of us start this off part-time until it takes off. But the difference is treating it like a business means that how much does it cost to get a stage? Now I know what I can spend to get on that stage. And most people are like, oh, that's not that important. It's very important. It's the lifeblood of your company, figuring out what a lead costs and what a lead is worth, and then how much you can spend to go get that lead in marketing. Okay? We've got some sound. There we go. And then after we monetize the stage, then we leverage the stage. What that means is, how do you maybe create your own live experience, your own live event where people can travel to you and hear you speak? So once you've got on stage and you're monetizing the stage, then how do you create your own stage? And you'd be amazed at how much leverage in the industry you get when you have your own event and you own the stage, you can get on stages much easier. Jules and I were talking about this the other day. I can basically sit at my desk and call anybody in the industry and get on their stage, because we have so many events that we could basically do what we call stage trade. And so it's pretty easy to book talks when you have that. So the point is, maybe some of you would like to create your own speaking opportunity. That's a specific skill set of getting people. How do you get people to show up to an event? How do you brand the event? How do you earn when they're at the event? All of these things matter when you're building a speaking business. So if you want to get booked and paid to speak, as I rewind for just a minute, the first thing you do is you pick your message, then you figure out who's booking that topic, and you go after them relentlessly. Okay, so I just want you to write those 3 things down, because I like to simplify the process. Now, your own personal brand, how you position yourself, what kind of angle you take in the industry. Let's say you're a sales speaker, a leadership speaker, a health speaker, or whatever, you're a business coach. How do you differentiate yourself? That's a talk that we don't have time for today, but that's incredibly important, because if you start marketing to these people, but you sound like everybody else, just that any old motivational speaker or whoever, you're probably going to be placed in a pile that's pretty deep, and you may not rise to the top to be chosen. And so you have to differentiate. And so one of the reasons we put this event on is so that we can help you and teach you how to separate and what kind of topics are being booked. But if you come down right under where Brian Tracy and Rick Frischman are, if you come down right under that, and says there's never been a better time for you to enter one of the biggest industries in the world. If you look at this, if you look at 48% of motivational speakers right now are earning between $2,000 and $5,000 per speaking engagement. Now imagine if you could book 3 or 4 talks a month and add another $5,000 to $10,000 in revenue to your bottom line. That's really attractive to most people, right? And if you look at 25% of motivational speakers are making over $5,000 to $10,000 per speaking engagement, and then 5 make over that. But the point is, all that to say, this is an attractive number. Getting from 5 to 10 isn't as hard as people think it is. And so you're worth your content is probably worth a whole lot more than you're willing to charge, but our goal is to get you making something before we can get you making probably what you're worth. And then it becomes like, okay, so now I'm getting booked to speak. What kind of books, products, services support what I'm doing, so I can leave my message with them? They can buy some books. It's more revenue for you, and so on. But basically, when you think about this, if you come down and it says, when you attend a magnetic speaker event, first we have to create a powerful and sellable message, and then and then I go through the 5 ways to land speaking engagements, and then you have to develop powerful marketing. Marketing that specifically will absolutely separate you from the industry, separate you from your competition rather, and then how to brand your message. And then what are the best promotional materials? When you're promoting yourself, do you use a brochure? Do you use your website? Do you send a book? What do you send to them that gets their attention? And then where do you even get this list of event coordinators? So my favorite one is at the bottom there. It says how to get rebooked 75% of the time. So I currently have had the privilege of having a 92% rebooking rate. And believe me, I wish it was because I was the best speaker in America. I assure you it's not. It's only because I put in a system in place. My follow-up system starts way before I ever show up to do the speaking engagement. So when I get booked to speak, I'm already thinking, what can I do throughout this process to ensure I get booked again by this organization? See, most people, they're so excited to get the speaking gig, they lose their mind and they don't think, well, wait a minute, this is an opportunity. It's not just a speaking gig. This could spin into 4 or 5 more. It's the way you think, it's how you think, and that's what we want to shift. That's one of the reasons why the event exists. And so, again, get that message, who's booking it, then we go after them. Okay, so what I want to do now, Jules, let's take some questions. I want to know from people. Give me some questions of what people are, what are you wondering? Maybe you have a topic you're wondering, where does it fit? Shoot some questions to us so that we can. So maybe Jules, and you tell me if I'm wrong, if they should unmute, ask the question, then mute again is probably the best way to do it. But let me hear what you think on that.
Sure, they can do it that way, or they can type their question in the Zoom group chat, because I can see their question
great.
there. So if it's easier for you to type it,
That's great.
And if you want to just unmute yourself and ask the question, that's fine too.
Awesome. 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 Okay. Does anybody have a question? That I could answer that specifically about speaking? Maybe you want to grow your speaking business. Maybe you want to run your own event. Talk to me.
I have a question.
Shoot.
What typically is the average length of time for some of the speeches that you give at these sessions? Is it dependent upon the type of event, or is there just a standard that you usually try to do?
Yeah, so most of the time I know this is a big range, but it's 45 to 90 minutes. And I would say 60 is often the sweet spot. It's 45 to 90 minutes. I prefer 90 minutes, but it's 45 to 90 minutes. I like the 90-minute time frame because I have a lot to say, but most people, a lot of people. But now I also say that there really are a couple different kinds of speakers. Some of you might be keynoters. That's me. And keynoters have more of that entertainment feel, where it's more of kind of engulfing an entire audience, where some of you might be more trainers, where you kind of go with 8, 10, 15, 25 people and you dive deep into a topic. So one's more inspirational, while the other is informational. So, and by the way, one is not right or wrong. I mean, it's just who you are and what kind of style of a speaker you are. If you've seen me speak, you understand my thing. I love comedy, and I used to be a comedian, so I bring a lot of that entertainment element. And so for me, keynote has always been my love. However, a lot of times people will say, well, you do a training for our leaders, it'll be 2-3 hours. And sometimes that happens. Of course, you take it and go, but most of the time it depends on if you're a keynoter or a trainer. I was more of a keynoter, but if you're a trainer, it could be all day. Maybe you have an 8-hour training that an HR training. We have a coaching client that's Courtney Berg that trains HR people, and she'll do all day workshops for organizations, and then ends up becoming their HR consultant and consults with them on a regular, ongoing basis. So it all depends on what kind of speaker you are. Hope that answers the question.
It does. Thank you so much.
So Mike.
Absolutely. Anything else, please?
So Mike, Becca has a question, and Becca,
Sure.
are you able to ask the question, or do you want me to read it for you? She typed it over here, but
Can you hear me?
we can, Darlene.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, awesome. So I also have to apologize because I jumped on from my car and then came on via computer, and I did not realize that you didn't mute everybody. So that bad noise was me. I was making my It's really good. It's delicious. I wish I could share it with you guys. Okay, so I am a holistic. First of all, thank you for spending your time and sharing your expertise. I know the value of your time, and Jules is one of my long-term friends, and I saw her post on Facebook this morning. I'm like, I'm going to reschedule my days so I can jump on this call. So thank you so much for that. My question is...
Awesome. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I just got my second paid engagement.
Woo, woo, woo.
Boom. Congratulations.
Ago. This one went over $1,000. So that's nice, right? It's almost $2,000.
Phenomenal.
Yep. It's almost cheap. But I am their closing keynote. It's almost 2.5 to 3 hour position. I get to wrap up the entire convention. It's a statewide convention for a national organization. And
wonderful.
Thank you. So I had proposed a certain number. They asked me how much. So this is my first time. I was like, oh my God, they're asking me how much I want. So I said, okay, I'll be fair. And my fairness from my other speaker friends was like ridiculously low. They're like, you should have been over 10,000, close to 20,000. I said, I'm not there yet. They're like, yes, you are. But so here's my question. I had proposed 5,000. And I gave them hours, depending on how much time they wanted to book. And they went for the 2.5 to 3 hour. Long story, they offered me about 50% of what I had asked. Now, I could have denounced it and walked away, or as I was elated to get paid to speak, and it's in my backyard, I'm like, oh, what the heck, that's not bad money for 3 hours plus preparation, another 5 hours.
Right.
What the heck, so 8 hours of work for about $2,500. That's not a bad day's work, but so my question is, how do you get what you value yourself at? There's not a lot of people that do what I do, and I work within business, corporate, and at business events. So there's not a lot of health speakers that really work with other speakers to help them who are traveling, as well as bring in the audience so that they themselves empower themselves so that they can propel themselves. It's the same thing. It's the oxymoron that we have in corporate America, right? If somebody's healthier, they
Right.
have less absenteeism, they have better camaraderie, better community spirit, they feel better about themselves, they produce more. It's the same thing in any business. So my question is, how do I get my value? How do I ask, or do I wait to be asked? And
Yeah. So value is a subjective thing in speaking. So for me, some of my greatest quote unquote value came from free engagements because I leveraged them a certain way. So I actually never had a speaking fee, and I never will, and I tell all speakers not to. And so the reason of that is, so like, for example, if you say 5,000 and they say, well, we only have 2,500, and you're like, okay, I'll take that. What that does is you have to have a reason to come from 5,000 to 2,500, right? I mean, or else what happens is people start. So what will happen is they'll go tell everybody else, well, she said 5,000, but she's actually a $2,500 speaker, or 2,000, whatever the amount was, whatever the total amount was. And so what I do is I say, when people say, so how much do you charge? I always say, well, my fee is really dependent on, my fee is dependent on a lot of different things. And then I always say it this way. I say, my fee is always dependent on a lot of different things, and a lot of companies that I work with get different fees depending on what they really want of me. And so tell me a little bit more about what kind of event you're doing and what kind of budget are we trying to fit in. And then when people say that way, they often will tell you their budget, because here's the deal. And they're like, well, what do you charge? I say, well, I have 3 different packages. I always had 3 packages on purpose. I had a $25, a $500, and a $7,500 package when I was kicking it hard, because I wanted to have a VIP option, and that came with books for the attendees, and it came with an extra consulting afterwards that I'd hang out with their leaders for an hour or whatever. And that way I always, but then when I went down to 5,000, I pulled something out. And then when I went down to 2,500, I pulled another thing out so I could justify coming down to a lower fee.
right.
Because here's the thing, if that's a national conference, if that has national exposure, you do not want to give up an engagement that could spin off to 4, 5, 6, 7 other engagements.
Hello.
So
That's
the truth is,
thinking.
so the truth is, for that engagement, I would have paid 5,000 to be on stage.
So
I would have literally written a check to them.
Yeah. So I also have a product called Healthy Love Bites. So because they were not going to be giving these people a lunch break, I said, oh, so you're going to give me hangry people to close out this conference? I said, I have a product, maybe you'd like to buy it. So they did. So I'm going to be providing 250 people with my product, and I do get to sell from the stage, and I added that they gave me a vendor booth for both days. So people who come, and then they also promoted my video to all of their attendees. So they're hopefully attendees are opening it. They know that if they come to my booth on Saturday and register, that they'll be available to be in a drawing for some great coaching and health programs during my course. So I try to add my value in, but yeah.
I mean, so the truth is, I never, when people say that, like, well, how do you get what you're worth? I always say, See, getting what I'm worth is not the right question. The question is, how can I turn an engagement into getting what I'm worth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See, for me, I never saw it as the person's booking me. It's not their responsibility to pay me what I'm worth. It's my responsibility to figure out how to make that engagement earn what I'm worth. So the difference is when I go to an engagement, I mean, I've paid $5,000 to be on a stage before. A hop on a stage, I paid $5,000. And so when people say, you know, and so I'm like, to me, a fee it's a weird question, and not a weird question. It's a weird thing because I come from a world where I pay to be on a lot of stages. And so fees it's a unique thing for me. And so in fact, when I was a college speaker, I actually came up with a speak for free program because I realized on the college market, they have a continuing education budget. I'm like, well, if you buy 500 of my books and sell them to all your students, you keep 100% of the revenue. And I found out that I made 13% more if they bought 500 books than if they paid my speaking fee. They got me for free. They got the books. My message got out there, and they came out of a different budget, and their budget wasn't. So I created a program where they didn't even have to pay me. And so the point is with the fee thing is it's a different question. The question really is every time somebody asks you that, the question first is to figure out what they have in their budget. And then if somebody does have an astronomical amount in their budget and say, oh man, we have $15,000 in our budget to pay for this spot. Great. So let me tell you what I would do if I were you.
Okay.
Since they paid you $2,500, the reason they paid you $2,500 is because you're the closing keynote. That's usually, I took the closing keynote for years, and I would love to think they saved the best for last, but really what it is you know, what I would do next time is I would always look at, of course, go do your best, crush it. When the evaluations come back, ask them for them and say, hey, these evaluations, they seem to really, if they respond well, which they probably will respond great, they seem to respond really, really well to the evaluations. Why not for next year's conference, whatever your mainline keynote did, I'll do it for that, and I'll give you 2 breakout sessions for free. Because what happens is, which is a trick I used to use anytime they would book me, and I was one of the lower paid speakers on the totem pole when I was first getting into the business, I'd go there, I'd crush it, and oftentimes I'd get better evaluations than their main keynote. And I said, why would we waste all this money on a main keynote that their evaluations are less? So you can leverage off evaluations to be their next year's main keynote.
I love that thinking. And yeah, I know they market it as saving the best for last, but you know, they've been typically doing that, sticking their health or fitness speaker in at the last space. So
Sure.
Yeah, no, I know I'm the caboose, but but
I believe me, I've been it many times. And the thing is, to me, it doesn't matter to me where I spoke. My goal was always just to use that, because the thing is, you have a major showcase, right? That's all. It's a major showcase that you're getting paid to do. And so you're showcasing who you are, what you do, and you'll probably be at a lot of these organizations that come and see you.
Right. And I'm bringing in a videographer as well. So hopefully
yeah, I certainly would.
Mike, we have another
awesome.
question from Ed. And so Ed has always assumed that he needed an agent to get booked for speaking gigs. He said, I've done a few small speaking gigs for free and moderated a couple of local political debates. I now host a syndicated radio show, and I'm wondering, since I can bring attention and free advertising to an event, how can I find the niche speaking gigs that would find that ability attractive so I can market to those specific types of gigs?
Sure. Okay. So first thing is, I've had many agents over the years, and I literally have fired every single one of them. So agents are not the way. It's a way to add gigs. It's not the way. And so, and I used to think that too. Oh man, when I got my first agent, oh my goodness, I almost bought the mansion just waiting for the money to show up. And what I later found out is that agents, because they get paid no matter who they book, they have no loyalty to the speaker, right? And so they don't care who they book. In fact, they want to book the person whose fees the most because they get a percentage of the fee. And so unless your fee is really high, they're probably going to be focusing on their $10,000 to $50,000 speakers. And maybe you are that much, but I'm just saying, like, so agents are not the way to go. So Jules, what I'm asking, would you repeat the moderator specifically, repeat that question one more time so I make sure I'm answering the correct question.
Right. So one was, first of all, Ed had the assumption that he had to, have an agent. So you addressed that one. He's done a few small speaking gigs for free, hosted and moderated a couple of local political debates. Okay. So I now host a syndicated radio show, and I'm wondering, since I can bring attention and free advertising to an event, how can I find the niche speaking gigs that would find that ability attractive? So I think he's asking, is that an attractive speaking type of thing? And then how does he market those specific types of gigs?
So the question is, since he can give exposure to people through his radio show, he's asking, with that skill of being able to give exposure, how could he speak on that topic? Am I understanding that correctly?
Oh no. Okay. Can you, he's saying no, so we need a reframe. Can you ask specifically again,
Yeah.
Ed? Sorry, Ed.
We want to make sure that we just answer the right question. So,
yeah.
So we don't waste his time.
So can I market to those specific types of gigs? Maybe he's talking about the political gigs. How can I find events that would find that ability to be an incentive? Do you mean the ability to
market the event, probably?
The ability to advertise, yeah.
Okay. And are you trying to get paid?
And promote the event. Okay, so Ed wants to promote, advertise and promote the event, probably on his syndicated radio show.
Okay, so what I would do, I mean, this is, if he wants to promote events, every event promoter is looking for you right now. Well, we are looking for you. I mean, we run 14 events, and if you have a following and can advertise, every event you advertise would give you a link to make money off of every person that came through you. And so they would pay you what we call an affiliate commission. You probably have heard that, or if you haven't, it's just you get a portion of every sale. And so you can market all these events and become essentially an affiliate promoter, and all of these people would want that. If you want, I mean, Jules knows a ton of events. I know a ton of events. I mean, we could get you some people that are looking for that kind of thing. Magnetic Speaker would be a great event to come and meet with us at. We're both going to be there. It'd be a great event to come and hang with us at, and we can help you frame that package so what it might be beneficial, and you could create a whole package for event promoters, and you could be a huge tool in their arsenal.
So Ed, is that correct in that, so he just explained the affiliate marketing piece, so making money by, promoting other people's events, but also is your message, your 10-second message to the world, would that be teaching people how to make money doing that? Is that what you would like to get paid to speak about? So I guess that's the question. What is your topic that you want to be paid to speak? So he's, oh boy, I'd be a keynote type of guy. Okay, so he's saying he'd be a keynote type, but what is your message? If we drill it down, what is the message that you want people to know about you? And that will help Mike identify who would pay to have you be at the keynote.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I would just have to know what he wants to talk about. I thought he was talking about promoting events. So if I misunderstood, just let me know what he wants to.
Oh, too long to type here, but you've only got 10 seconds, Ed. So that's that first question. So really, when Mike gave us that tip of, you have 10 seconds to talk to the whole wide world, what would your 10 seconds be? So, but I think, and Ed, motivational. Okay, so his topic would be motivational.
He's like a motivational speaker. So if you're a motivational speaker, the first thing I would say that again.
Rags to riches, overcoming obstacles,
Like a
those
rags
type
to
of
riches.
things. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of events that are looking. So when you're a motivational speaker, they book on two different things. If you're a motivational speaker, they book on either your story or your celebrity. So motivational speakers are dying except for stories and celebrities. And so if you have I have a friend of mine, Matt Jones, he's just a pure motivational speaker, just a basically you can do it kind of speaker. And, but people book his story. He calls himself a cancer conqueror, not a cancer survivor, because he takes it more on an ownership, like I beat cancer. And he beat cancer 3 times and then ran a marathon on every single continent, including Antarctica. And so now he obviously has a story. Now, even when he only ran 1 marathon, he was like, you know what, I beat cancer 3 times and ran a marathon, and now his whole program is called 26.2 because that's the distance in a marathon is 26.2 miles. And then it's 26. His book is 26.2 tips on how to win in your life or whatever. But his whole thing is around that story. So if you have a story, that's huge. Or it's celebrity or story. So people that book Mark Wahlberg to show up and speak, he doesn't need a story because he is the story, right? I mean, people come for him. Or if you like a Tony Robbins, it's not like, this is how I got out of, he has a great story, but people are booking the name, right? And so it's a celebrity or a story for a motivational thing. You got to get that honed down, which I'm serious. So that's what we go over at the event. Magnetic Sphere would be great to have you there because then you get a lot more reframe on how to make that motivational thing sing.
And Mike,
it's just so much to go over. That's an entire business build there.
Yeah, he says a little of both, following too, but I have an incredible story. Awesome. So Ed has an incredible story, and he has a following. So he's in a great position to start speaking. Mike, you talked about 3. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, at our CCIC, our Chicks Connect Inspiration Celebration, you talked about, I think, 3 different ways of making money. One, of course, is somebody just, pays you to come, hey, here's come and speak. Can you tell us what those are real quick, briefly, so people know?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's
check.
Yep, absolutely. So it's speak for free, FREE, speak for a fee, FEE, or speak to acquire. So here's the 3 ways you can speak for a fee. You can just, hey, Mike, we want you to come to speak. We're going to pay you $5,000. We're going to pay you $10,000. It's over. You just they pay you to come speak. That's one way. The next way is to speak for free and offer a product or a service or a continuing education thing. So you speak for free and you've got a product on how to have the best life now, or, how to be healthy in 7 days, or whatever your product is that demonstrates who you are. That's speak for free. Or maybe you're a coach, or maybe you're a naturopathic doctor, or maybe you're a chiropractor or dentist, and you speak at local events or national events and acquire clients. Mm-hmm. And so there's 3 different ways, and I've done all 3, and I love all 3. And so one is not better than the other, just as dependent on what fits you.
And that kind of ties into Becca's question about, and what she's doing. So she's making money by, they're paying her a check. She's also going to sell things so that, she's selling a product. And then another way, she'll probably acquire new clients because it's local. So you can dabble in all 3 while you're at one event, which is like the jackpot.
Yep. Exactly. Yes, it is. Yes. And there are some speak for fee that you can also sell stuff. Yeah, that's not, or even acquire clients. So it's not like they don't touch each other. They absolutely can touch each other. It's just, those are the separation of the 3 opportunities.
So Ed wanted to thank you. So he says thanks with a smiley face, and I've posted the link in the comments to the event. But can you, I know you went over the event a little bit, but can you tell us the different ways that people can, if they want to meet you at this event, the different types of options there are and what they get for those?
Sure, absolutely. So if you come, when you can attend a magnetic speaker event, our next one is June 22, 23, 24. Jules is coming. She's going to be speaking there, as you can see on the site. And one ticket, our general admission ticket, you get a ticket, you get to bring a guest for free. You get the all the binder of all the event stuff that we get. So that's your general admission. Then we have a VIP ticket where you get to come, then you get to also bring a guest, you get the binder, but then you get 2 bonus sessions that we do on the morning of day 2 and the morning of day 3. And you get a VIP dinner on night 2. And you get the access to the lounge every day, the VIP lounge, and you get to hang out with us. And then we have what we call our VIP Elite, and we only have 2 spots of this left. It says only 5 seats available, and I need to change it on the website because 3 of those have been purchased, and so there's only 2 left. And so, by the way, the general admission is $497, and you get 2 tickets. The VIP is $797, and you get 2 tickets. And the VIP Elite, you get everything for VIP. You get the ticket for your guests, you get the binder, you get the bonus sessions, the lounge, the dinner. But what makes the VIP Elite different is that you actually get to get on stage and speak for 5 to 10 minutes, do a portion of your talk, and I critique you live. It's a live makeover, and literally I revamp some of your verbiage, and you're speaking on stage live, and then you get the video of you speaking and photos so that you can use in your marketing. And the reason we only have 5 of those is obviously because each one of those take time on stage. And so that's another option. That's our most popular option because people want to get on stage and they can use that sizzle reel for their marketing and their photos on stage, and they get live coaching from me on stage. So that's another option. So those are the 3 options. Again, it's June 22, 23, 24. It's 3 days of solid content, a very high-end content event, very, very, very high-end. And so we teach a lot of stuff. And so those are the 3 options. I would love to meet you guys there, especially coming through Jules, because every single person I've ever met that comes through Jules is an awesome person. And so we would love to have you join us it's in Orange County, Santa Ana, again, June 22, 23, 24.
Great. So I want to open it up one last time. I know you have to run here in just a second, Mike, but do any of you have questions about the event? Questions?
I have one. How often do you usually do these events? I know you have this one booked, but I don't see any others on your schedule. Twice a year, once a year? This is Michelle Burrell. I'm with Chicks as well, and I'm Nomadic Homeschoolers is my organization.
Sure. So we do these events twice a year. We do one in the spring-ish. I mean, we're doing this one in June. I guess that's summer. And one so this year it'll be June and December. Next year, I think it's May and December, but no, I think it is June and December for 2018 as well. So we usually do one in June and one in December. So we do it twice a year. And usually right now it's one East Coast, one West Coast.
Perfect.
Okay, any other questions?
So the one.
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
No. I was just going to say the one in the East Coast will be Orlando. The one West Coast will be LA or close to it. Like Orange County's within, 30 minutes of LA, but depending on traffic, I suppose.
Yeah, well, Michelle is in Orlando right now, and Becca is in Boca, and so Florida. We need to build our California following a little bit better. We've got a couple of Floridian girls on right now. Chella's from California though, so Chella can get us connected with some people. And Ed, I don't know where you're from.
Sure.
Or I don't remember where you're from. Awesome. Well, I just posted the link there for the event. We'd love to see you there. And I'd love to, know about any of your speaking events that you have going on. Anyone that's listening to this recording, if you are a Chicks Connect member, we have a Facebook group where we are getting Chicks Connect members together to room share. So when you share a room with 3 other women, it kind of cuts down on the cost, whether you're traveling to California or Florida. So that's called Magnetic Speaker Event Room Share and Info, I think, on Facebook. So even if you're not sure if you're ready to purchase yet or not, go ahead and get in that group, and we'll keep you informed as to anytime Magnetic Speaker is going on, and we'll just coordinate room shares. We like to do that, and the women like to be together anyway. So wonderful. Well, I just see people say hi and bye, and Ed is from Vegas. Wonderful. And thank you, Becca. You rock, Diva. You rock as well. So, Mike, any parting words for those that are listening to the recording and are live with us today?
Guys, thanks again. And Jules, you know, again, everybody that I meet through you is phenomenal. And thanks again for having me on. And it's been fantastic. And if I could tell you just one parting word, it's speaking is about getting in front of people that can make decisions. It's really that. That's the business. And so you have to, of course, have the right packaging and have the right positioning, all that stuff, but you got to get in front of those people. And so that's your focus. If you want to get booked to speak, we got to start there. So please, please, please come to one of our future events. I would like nothing more than to actually shake your hand or give you a hug and connect with you. That would be phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. And thanks again, Mike. Love to all of you.
All right. Thanks so much, Jules. All right. Bye-bye.